So this last week I got this little box in the mail. It's called the Bread of Life. But this little box is a little bit like what our minds should be like. Because when I open this box, it is full of little Bible verses. Now our memory and our mind is like this little box, but what do we have stored in our memory? And the Bible says, thy word have I hidden in my heart that I might not sin against thee. So we need our mind or our memory to be like this little box, which is full of Bible verses, because if we have them in our heart and in our mind, then they can come to our mind, or we can remember them when we need them. And Jesus was an example of this. Satan tempted him 3 times when he was in the desert, and Jesus always said, it is written, and then he quoted a verse from the Bible. But in order to be able to pull out verses out of our memory when we need them, we need to first of all know them and learn them. So I want to teach you verses that you can remember when you are tempted to do wrong, or when you are feeling afraid. Whatever situation you face, I want you to know verses that you can pull out of your memory. So today I want to teach you one verse. So this verse is for when you are tempted to do wrong because you think nobody is around or nobody is watching. So what verse could you learn to pull out of your memory box when you are tempted to do wrong because you think nobody is watching? It's easier to do right when mum or dad or brother or sister or somebody else is around and they're watching you. But when nobody's watching, or you think nobody's watching, you're all by yourself, or with somebody who wants you to do wrong, it's much easier to do wrong. So what verse could you learn that you can remember and pull out of your memory when you're tempted to do wrong? Proverbs 15:3 says, the eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. So that means that God sees us wherever we are, in every place that we are, and he sees the evil, the bad things, and the good. So when nobody else is around or our parents aren't watching, God is always watching. So when you're tempted to do what's wrong, so you think nobody's watching or nobody's going to find out, you need to remember this verse, the eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil. Beholding means seeing or watching the evil and the good. So that's why we need to always do what is right. And Joseph was an example of this. When somebody tempted him to do wrong, I don't think there was anybody else around, but he wanted to please God, and he knew that God was watching. But he also sees the good as well. And the Good Samaritan is an example of this. Nobody was watching him when he cared for the sick man, but God was watching him. So, the eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. And I'm going to show you an easy way to sing it. The eyes of the Lord are in every place. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. Proverbs 15 verse 3. The eyes of the Lord are in every place. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and